for 7, 6 for 6. Not too shabby.
It's almost as good as a perfect game in college basketball. Ted Valentine puts the ball in the air with Ebenezer Duwana and Derek Lively. And Jeremy Roach and the Blue Devils go to work on tonight's first possession.
NC State opens in the man-to-man. They're trying to be very aggressive, Wes.
Yep, here is Blake's drawing the start tonight. He has been terrific in the last 2 ball games for Coach Shire. Roach a 3, and the rebound knocked out of there. Mitchell a second chance for the Blue Devils. It got batted away, and here's State in transition, and Baby T to the basket, but can't finish. Of course, the veteran player for John Shire is the point guard Jeremy Roach. Jalen Blakes has come a mile, Dan, in his development in his sophomore season. And then you got Mitchell with Filipowski, and here is Lively with the right hand. Couldn't finish. The rebound pulled away. Greg Gant getting his first start tonight for the Wolfpack. His 13th collegiate start. He had 12 starts when he was a member at Providence with Duwana, Morsell, Joyner, and the aforementioned Terquavion Smith, who launches a 3. And the back rim and long rebound for Roach.
And that's Terquavion Smith. He's going to shoot that ball, Wes. I mean, that is a good shot for Terquavion Smith. Yep. He was open. And if that thing starts to fall, could get very interesting.
It might be a bad shot for most of college basketball, but it's in his pocket. Filipowski against Smith, turns, forced it up, and the rebound for Gant.
There was a mismatch there, Wes, and what Filipowski has to do is get down on the block. You don't want to be trying to take Smith to the basket from the free throw line.
Joyner trying to take Mitchell to the lane. Fall away. Too strong. One and done of the Wolfpack though on the glass.
Ebenezer Duwana didn't help his teammate right there. He had a chance to step into an open area, but he stood still, and so that forced Joyner to shoot a tough one.
2 minutes in, scoreless here in Raleigh. Roach picks up on the dribble. Filipowski working against Gant.
Gant is trying to get right in his face.
There's a feed inside. Mitchell to the basket. It got blocked and then rejected. On the return, Blake's will fire. Front rim missing a 3.
I think Duwana got 2 of those, Wes. That's what he's in the game to do.
Morsell. NC State plays underman tonight. Jack Clark, announced an hour or so before the game, will miss an indefinite amount of time with a core muscle injury. Morsell, the leading 3-point shooter in the ACC, misses out of the corner, and there is Clark, the 8th best rebounder in the ACC at better than 7 a game. He was doing a lot for Kevin Keats' team, Dan.
Boy, he sure was, Wes. And, you know, one of the things, his 3-point shooting percentage wasn't that high, but he's a capable 3-point shooter, and teams had to go out and guard him. So that helped NC State spread the floor. So it's not just the rebounding, the defensive prowess, but it also affects them, I think, very badly on the offensive end.
Here's Blakes. And Jeremy Roach will work against Terquavion Smith. Joyner, the Ole Miss transfer, out there to defend the New Jersey sophomore. Roach, 6 to shoot for the Blue Devils. Dukes missed their first 6 shots from the floor. That got deflected, and here's Joyner. He's got Gant with him. He'll leave it for Gant. The layup, good. Just the 3rd field goal of the year for Fayetteville, North Carolina's Greg Gant. Lively steps on the inbounds. Duke misses a transition chance at their end of the floor. And with that, Smith will come out of Kevin Keats' lineup. And L.J. Thomas is going to check in, but here's the finish by Gant.
Well, Gant really does a nice job running the floor, Wes. I thought that he was going a little too slowly. He was going to allow Duke to catch up.
When you mentioned Duwana, he comes out because Dwight Burns Jr. has checked in. DJ Burns, the 6'9" grad transfer from Winthrop.
Burns may be in because Young is in the game, Wes. I think Burns is going to have a hard time against Lively on the inside.
Morsell for Burns. He's already a fan favorite in Raleigh. Fall away with a left-hander.
And that's why he's a fan favorite, Wes. He's very good with the basketball. He struggled against Clemson, missed some of those shots. And those are the shots he missed against Clemson and normally shots that he doesn't miss. The intensity, Wes, on both ends of the floor by both teams is really amazing.
Filipowski tried to come up with it, did, almost threw it away. Traveling is the call on the Blue Devils. Both teams have gotten into their benches. Slow scoring ball game early. Wolfpack 4, Duke nothing.
But they've had 3 shots blocked, and NC State has recovered all 3 of those shots.
Right.
So the Blue Devils are listed at being 0 for 6, but 3 of those 6 field goal attempts have been blocked shots.
Joyner with Burns, Gant, and here's Burns back to work with the left hand again.
Now, he's usually not a screen and roll guy, but he looked pretty good right there.
What were we talking about this afternoon? He rarely rolls, and there he did. He's got State's last 4. Derek Whitehead, talented freshman from Kansas City into the ball game, or Newark, New Jersey, rather. Here is Young. Kick out for Roach's 3. Off the front iron, Thomas the rebound.
They missed that shot, but that's a good idea by Duke to take the ball inside.
Morcell, and here's Burns with Young defending. Ball away again.
Oh.
Building takes another level every basket he scores here.
But Wesson, if you're not going to bring help, then that's a really tough matchup for Ryan Young.
Blakes trying to size up Thomas. Here's Whitehead. And a reach on Morcell on an entry pass for Filipowski. First on Casey Morcell, first on the Wolfpack, first foul of the ball game.
Wes, we talk about the touch that this big guy has. He moves his feet very well. That's not an easy shot right there. But here, look, there's no help coming. He just gets as close to the basket as he wants to. And Wes, he doesn't do that by putting his shoulder into Young and pushing him. He uses that entire body of his to get a little closer to the basket for that shot.
Grandison has come into the ball game for the Blue Devils. There's Proctor, the young Aussie. He couldn't finish in front. Morcell couldn't collect it, but it was last touched by the Blue Devils. So we've seen Duke get into the depth quickly, or their versatility, as you've talked about, Dan.
Well, when they go to the bench, Wes, they really can change the character of their team. And I think John Shire is just looking for something. You know, his team is very good defensively. He'd like them to generate a couple of turnovers, get some easy baskets to get this offense going.
Smith back on the floor, challenges Ryan. He'll draw the foul from Ryan Young. It'll be the first on Young, the first on the Blue Devils.
And Terquavion Smith, Wes, is extremely dangerous when he goes to that part of his game. Smith sometimes relies on the three-point shot a little too much, but he's a very good free throw shooter. He's really quick. He's strong enough that once he gets in there, he can get the ball up on the board.
Smith trying to rewrite a little bit of his scouting report, if you will. As you see Joyner return, first points of the night for the sophomore Smith. Look at the career he's had against the ACC, and then look at Clemson and Duke, Dan, in his 5. It's something about the Tigers and Blue Devils. Now, he had 19 last year in the ball game at Durham, but it took 21 shots to get 19.
Wes, both of those teams have long, athletic defenders, and that's still the case with Duke tonight. But if Duke's going to struggle if they can't score.
He struggled, of course, on Friday night at Littlejohn when the Tigers were able to beat NC State. Burns a factor at the rim. Here's Joyner. Pull up 3. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Look out.
13-0. And the Blue Devils need a timeout. Jarkel Joyner with 3 ball and
rebound. Burns blocks it again. Wes, it's going to be hard to score if you can't get the ball to the basket. But here in transition, Joyner certainly can get it to the basket.
Backcourt pressure. Grandison quickly front court. Here's Whitehead, a little crossover, stripped and last touched by the young freshman. So Derek Whitehead and Duke having a hard time finding the basket.
I think Burns knocked this away again, didn't he? You know, so Burns, they're running in transition, and Burns somehow catches up and blocks that one, so he's got 3 blocked shots.
Smith working against Proctor. Burns trying to help with a screen. Smith from deep.
Ooh.
Missed badly. They scramble to the deck. And Burns challenged on the baseline against Derek Whitehead. It will belong to the Blue Devils.
Well, Whitehead caught a break right there that Burns didn't land on.
And watch this. You see that Filipowski's come back on the floor, and promptly here comes Duana back for NC State to replace Burns. Young on, Burns will come on. Young goes off, Burns goes out. Boy, Kyle Filipowski, Dan, ton of talent on a 7-foot frame, huh? That time threw it away, trying to skip it to Mitchell.
I think that was the right idea. That's 4 turnovers now by Duke. But I think Filipowski can handle the ball against Duana. He just has to be under control. I think that's a hard matchup for Duana.
Yep. Joyner. Here is Smith against Whitehead. He'll take him on the dribble. Floater is no good. Filipowski the rebound for the Blue Devils.
Oh, that was no good, but that was some shot, Wes. He was in there. He got that ball push shot with the left hand.
Almost 7 minutes gone. Duke yet to scratch. Mitchell on the drive and a foul against the Wolfpack. Ted Valentine is going to ticket Ernest Ross, the 6'9" sophomore, Alachua, Florida, with his first. Second on NC State. And Mark Mitchell will go to the line. He's the 6'8" freshman from Kansas City. Comes in leading Duke in ACC scoring at 12.3 a game. And that's no good. Don't forget, game 1 of our doubleheader here in Raleigh. Game 2 coming up tonight over in Chapel Hill. Wake Forest trying to win at Smith Center for the first time since 2010 on the Corey Cast. Corey Alexander, Randolph Childress bring you coverage from Smith Center following our activities here tonight at PNC Arena. Mitchell had that one rattle out.
Wes, this is hard to imagine.
Here is Smith around Filipowski. You're Kevin Keats. You lost your best rebounder. I'm not sure you could have asked for a better start. It is 15-0.
Well, you could ask for it, but you'd be a really greedy person, and Kevin Keats isn't.
Backcourt pressure. Grandison did a good job keeping that one with the fellows in royal blue.
The Blue Devils have to figure out, Wes, just how to calm down. There's plenty of time left in the game. It's not like they're in a desperation mode now. This is a good place to go.
Filipowski banged around. Here's Mitchell on the recovery and the dunk. First basket for the Blue Devils, an emphatic one from Mark Mitchell.
And typically it's off an offensive rebound. Duke, an outstanding offensive rebounding team.
So Duke on the board with the Mitchell dunk. Smith a three. And we got a backcourt foul on Ross. He got tripped up. And that will get us to a timeout. Ernest Ross becomes the first player with 2. Third foul on the Wolfpack. But Terquavion Smith, 2. And you see State's made 7 of their last 9 from the floor.
And they've blocked 6 shots, Wes. They forced 4 turnovers and blocked 6 shots.
Ross playing with the 2 fouls, stays on the floor. Or no, I beg your pardon, he goes off the floor. Gant has come back with Duana.
The NC State defensive intensity has been very, very impressive.
Yep, Proctor picks up on the dribble. Here's Roach with 10 to shoot. Grandison, corner, Mitchell, nice crossover, travel call by Keith Kimball.
Wes, the Duke guys are just going too fast. Everybody's trying to make the great play, and all you have to do is make the easy play.
Right.
Well, easy for me to say that sitting over
Well,
here.
it's not a 16-point shot out there in John Sharp's playbook, right? That's the, you got to chip away here a little bit.
If there is, he needs to go to it.
Joyner. Here's Morcell, and we're going to go foul off the ball. Ted Valentine has ticketed Ryan Young with his second.
Now, Young is trying to be aggressive, Wes, and that's fine, but you know, Ebenezer Duana is not going to hurt you. It's not like going up against Burns in there.
Right. Well, and here comes Burns back.
Well, and now that's Lively's going to come in. Let's see how this matchup goes.
Derek Lively is all of 7'1", and a bouncy 7'1".
An extremely athletic 7'1".
Yep. Joyner inbounds for Burns, and here's Terquavion Smith. And see Lively help.
Now he's also a skinny 7'1".
And the ball for Burns partially deflected with 10 to shoot.
This is what Burns does.
Into a double team, put it up, and it bounced out.
And he slapped it out, Wes.
Smith, and a three from Joyner. Long rebound for Burns, fresh 20 for State. Tried to feed the bounce pass back, and Blakes commits the foul.
Wes, that was some sequence by Burns. He wormed his way inside there, as he almost always is able to do. And then somehow that shot came out, but he tipped the ball back. And then he's the guy who made the pass inside where Joyner got fouled.
Joyner will put it in play. Here's Morcell catch and shoot. Too strong. And bodies went down underneath. The play on. Proctor for Blakes. Jalen Blakes, he's been tough here for State, or for Duke, and turns it over to State in transition to Terquavion. Had the blow by, couldn't finish the layup.
Oh my! Boy, that ball was all the way down and out. What a spectacular move that was.
Yep. 10.5 to play. Mitchell has got the only Blue Devil basket. Strong drive and a travel call on Mark Mitchell. 7th turnover on the Blue Devils in the first half.
West Duke has to get better ball movement and player movement. And this is just some play by Smith. I don't know how that ball didn't go in the basket, but we talked about him being aggressive and very, very talented.
Here's Joyner. Trying to get it to Burns. Instead, Morcell a kick. Gant takes off baseline. Back for Casey Morcell. He'll drive against Filipowski. Fall away. Largest lead now for the Wolfpack. First bucket for Morcell. Roach. And a foul on Burns. Crafty move by the veteran Jeremy Roach, Dan.
Absolutely, Wes. You have to take advantage of all the situations, Wes. And that was an opportunity in transition, and the ability to attack Burns inside. You have to take that if you can get it. My one problem with that, Wes, is if that's not called a foul, then it's another situation where the first guy down the court for Duke shoots the ball, and that's not usually very conducive to effective offense.
Jeremy Roach, 75% at the line. Blue Devils hitting almost 81% at the line in ACC play. And Roach parries them both for his first points.
Wes, we've played 10 minutes, and they only have one field goal.
Right. Well, I go back to your comment a moment ago. It's the Wolfpack's defensive intensity that's carried them to this margin. Yeah, they've done some things at the offensive end, but even the flurry early where they weren't scoring, it was still pretty steady at the defensive end of the floor.
Wes, and now Duke
and no matter who you got, by the way, if you can still play defense, you got a chance.
Absolutely, Wes. They put some different guys in the starting lineup. Gant and Tawana, those guys gave them tremendous energy, really set the tone, or helped to set the tone. Duke was in the zone the last possession, and they stay in the zone.
Here's Joyner, deep three. Long rebound, Morcell. Here's Burns at the post over Lively. Slapped out by Gant. Third chance here, Dan.
Duke is supposed to be the offensive rebounding team. Sometimes it's harder in a zone, though.
Smith on a reroute. Joyner thought about it. Attacks, hanger over Lively. Burns tried to keep it alive. Lively came down with it. He lost it. And then it got blocked out by Lively to Morcell. Rimmed out. Lively finally the rebound on the 5th try on the State possession at that end of the floor. On the drive, Blakes knocked down, no foul. State in transition. Joyner the Euro.
Wes, again, Duke trying to force it. That was a force by Blake. Get the ball inside, kick it.
Dusan Mahorcic is also out of the lineup for an indefinite period of time. You see the Blue Devils, who average under 12 a game, already with 7. NC State yet to cash out on offense.
And what that means is that Duke has had to play against an aggressive set NC State defense every time, and that's a good sign there for Duke. Again, with just a little bit of dribble penetration.
And Derek Whitehead buries his 9th 3 of the year. Just the 2nd field goal for the Blue Devils. Joyner against Proctor.
And they're playing in the zone just to try to slow the Wolfpack down a little bit.
Yep. Here's Joyner. Shot fake on Proctor. 5 on the shot clock. Skip past Morcell.
That's a great play by Morcell, finding an open area. Just that little bit of penetration by Joyner draws the defense.
And
Smith picks up a foul.
Terquavion Smith. A quick foul going to break. And we'll step aside in Raleigh. 17-point lead for State.
7 shots.
Duke missed their first 12 shots on the floor. Mitchell has a dunk. You got 2 free throws from Roach and a 3 from Derek Whitehead.
Well, Mitchell with a dunk isn't a surprise. That was his 16th dunk on the year.
Yeah, he and Lively both can be found at the rim. Here is Whitehead. Setting for 3 at the top again and rattles it in.
Well, Wes, I'm sitting here thinking as he's letting that ball go, that might be a little too quick, but
he's rich enough to make that bet.
Absolutely.
Yep. Pair of
goes
threes.
In the basket. You say nice shot.
Yep. Pair of 3, 6 points for Derek Whitehead. 14-point lead for the Wolfpack. Ahead of 7 minutes to play. Zone again for the Blue Devils. Here's Gant over the top of Lively, and banks open for Greg Gant's second field goal. By the way, he was 2 of 7 from the floor coming in. Hadn't played in the last 3 games. He's got 2 field goals in the first half. Proctor almost had it swiped. They go to the floor, and a held ball will send it to the Wolfpack.
Well, Wes Gant has 2 field goals. He's got 2 blocked shots, and he's in the game for defensive rebounding purposes. And he certainly has fulfilled that role very effectively.
The Aussie Proctor will step out, and Mitchell returns. Mitchell averaging 12.3 points, averaging 11, and shooting 50% from the floor in the last 2 for the Blue Devils coming in. That included the win against Florida State on Saturday at Cameron, when they shot 51% and hit 11 threes against Leonard Hamilton's team.
Now Duke stays in the zone.
Morcell 10 to shoot. Now Burns double team. DJ going to square on Lively. Got him in the air. He tries to reroute and he traveled. Yep, sure did. First turnover of the night on the Wolfpack with 6:31 to go.
His teammates were so used to Lively making a move in there, they cleared out and he didn't have any place to pass the ball. Excuse me, to Burns maneuvering in there.
Well, Lively handled it pretty well.
Lively handled it perfectly.
Yeah. Roach working against Gant. Dan, with some of these lineup changes, interesting to watch the switching that State does defensively. They were trying to find Filipowski, who had a mismatch against Smith, and Lively just overthrew it.
Well, West Duke, their defense is really good, and one of the reasons is their guys have such athleticism. They can switch most screens, and that time, and this is the 2nd or 3rd time, we've seen Filipowski against North Carolina State get out there and he's matched up against Terquavion Smith, and they can't get him the ball inside. You know, it doesn't matter that he's 7 feet tall if he's outside shooting threes. You got to get down inside. You got to get him the ball against Smith.
Roach trying to beat Morcell to the basket. And rebounded by Mitchell. Strong with the left hand is Mark Mitchell. He's got 4 now. Blue Devils trying to find a little footing at the offensive end of the floor here in the final 5.5.
Well, Wes, as well as they rebound the ball on the offensive end, that might be your best offense, is to get the ball up on the board and go get it.
Burns. Entry mishandled. Tried to reroute to Morcell. Turned it over. 2 turnovers last 3 possessions for the Wolfpack. Filipowski in transition. His first basket.
And Kevin Keats a little bit concerned about this. Great job by Filipowski running the court. And if DJ Burns has a weakness, sometimes he's too adventurous as a pass ball over, and that's helped. Gotten a couple of easy baskets, and that's helped. Their season low for a half in scoring is 29 points in the first half against Oregon State. They got a ways to go to get there.
That was out in the PK event. Joyner back for Smith. Boy, Filipowski way out there. Tried to fire it to Burns. I thought he was throwing it to him off the board. Roach, Filipowski a catch and shoot. Airballed it. Joyner the rebound.
Smith bothered that shot.
Sure did. Jarkel.
Boy, what a turnaround that is. You get a turnover and you miss a three, a contested three, and then NC State just runs it down and gets an open one in transition.
Smith comes away with the turnover. Three ball.
Oh!
Now, let me show you all the swag I got right here in one sequence. Roach on the drive and a foul.
Wes, that is just some kind of play by Terquavion Smith. He tips the ball. Everybody thinks it's going out of bounds, but he gets it, and he just turns around and shoots it.
Yeah. Let me just show you all I got right here. Foul, by the way, on Burns was his second. With 4:19 to go first half. He is the second NC State player with 2. And so Jeremy Roach will go to the line.
And Wes, remember, we've got a whole second half to play. Guys in foul trouble for NC State's a bad idea.
Third point for Roach. Don't forget full Sunday women's basketball on ACC Network. Boy, Pittsburgh hosts Louisville, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then the matchup of the day, number 4 Notre Dame and number 22 North Carolina at Carmichael. 4 p.m. ACC Network and available always on the app. Roach's 4 points have all come at the line.
You made the point at the start of the game that NC State is playing shorthanded tonight because Clark is out, and Mahorsic, of course, has been out most of the year. So this is a bad time for guys to be in foul trouble for NC State. The bench just isn't as deep as Duke's.
And Dewana back on the floor. The junior from Ghana who played his high school ball in Georgia. Here is EB, got it blocked at the rim, cleaned up Morcell, back through, traffic, couldn't finish. Grandison comes out of there with it for the Blue Devils.
That's great defense to stop the Dewana dunk.
Yeah. Under 4 to go. Wolfpack's doubled the number on the Blue Devils and Young to work. And he's going to get ticketed for the travel. Ryan Young commits the 11th turnover of the first half on the Blue Devils. The 11-4 Wolfpack, just 1-3 in the ace.
Duke has to stop turning the ball over.
That's it.
North Carolina State has attempted 10 more shots than Duke because of those turnovers. And the Duke turnovers are not just by one guy. Duke has had 8 different players in this game with a turnover already.
Roach pressuring Smith, who brings it front court. And here is that zone again, employed by John Shire. Joyner. And did not get the roll. Grandison had a crack at it. I think Dewana was bothering him as Jacob Grandison, the Illinois transfer, tried to control it. It'll stay with the Pack.
Well, Dewana's got a couple of inches on Grandison, and he used that size advantage effectively right there.
Just a fly ball inbounds pass to Morcell. Inside, there's EP for the hammer. 7th field goal of the year for Ebenezer Dewana.
And they're not looking for any offense from him, but he can dunk it. They want him to rebound, they want him to block shots, they want him to guard, and they want him to dunk it, and that's exactly what he did.
Roach. Here's Young playing with the 2 fouls. And an entry for Whitehead, deflected away. Whitehead, Grandison couldn't control it after it bounced away from Derek Whitehead.
Dewana down in the low post on the left side of your screen, and Young simply steps toward Joyner because Joyner shot the ball from there the last time, and Mitchell did not drop down against Dewana, and he was all alone.
Jarkel Joyner's handed out 5 assists. Now Smith's turned it over in transition. Roach blocked by Terquavion Smith. Got Morcell ahead. He'll catch and score.
Roach should have passed that ball ahead to Derek Whitehead.
Mitchell working on Morcell. On the drive, feeds Young. Nicely done. First basket for Ryan Young. Still an 18-point lead for the Wolfpack. Morcell, Joyner, Thomas a three. Largest lead of the night. L.J. Thomas's 7th three-pointer of the year is his first basket.
Well, he's a low volume but high percentage guy, Wes. 7 for 11 now in the season.
Young rolling on Delano with the right hand, and Ebenezer picks up the foul. His first. 7 on the Wolfpack. With $1:52 to play in this first half. Young will go to the line for a pair here, where he is 89% on the season.
He's made, what, 18 in a row?
That's it. 21 of 27 on the year. And the free throw good. Don't forget, the debut of Nothing But Net comes up on Thursday night, 10 o'clock. Right after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Hall of Fame coach Muffet McGraw with Kelly Gramlich and Kelsey Riggs. All the analysis, all the highlights, even the interviews in ACC women's basketball Thursday night about 10 o'clock Eastern on ACC Network and, of course, on the ESPN app. You got Young on the back end of that, by the way. Didn't affect the first shot, but you got the second shot.
It doesn't affect the first shot. It doesn't count.
Joyner, 3-ball. Back rim, Whitehead. Tough rebound in traffic. Transition. Here's Grandison feeding Young. Mitchell right back to Young and one.
Mitchell's done that a couple of times now, Wes. Taking the ball very aggressively to the basket, drawn the defense, and dumped it off to Young. And Young just catches the ball so well inside. Young finds the open spot, just drifts in. And that's not an easy catch because you don't know whether your guy is going to shoot the ball or pass it to you. So you've got to be ready to catch and rebound.
Ryan out of Stewartsville, New Jersey. Gets the three-point trip. He's now got 6 here in the first half. Pair of field goals, 2 of 3 line shooting. And he will come out with the 2 fouls with 79 seconds to play. And here comes Greg Gant back for the Wolfpack to replace L.J. Thomas.
So if you're Duke, it's just a matter of digging in here defensively and trying to get stops before halftime. They're back to the man-to-man.
17-point lead for the Wolfpack. Joyner against Roach. Smith off the Dewana screen. Gant. And Dewana tried to keep it alive. Morcell collects.
An awful lot of loose balls going to North Carolina State.
Yep. Smith, the hanger.
Oh. One of the problems, Wes, when you get down by 19 to a team like North Carolina State with a player like Smith, it's really going to be hard to come back because he can get really hot.
Baby T's got a dozen in the first half to lead everybody. Whitehead in traffic. Morcell ripped it out of there.
Great defense.
Smith with Roach defending. And now the Pack will hold for the final shot of the half.
Casey Morcell came across half court and said, stop.
Smith wants the floor spread. 8 to go, and Roach fouled him. Duke has 4 to give. And that's the first on Roach. And here comes Blakes to replace Grandison.
Well, Blakes, after a couple of outstanding performances, Wes, has really struggled tonight. Hasn't scored, has turned it over a couple times, but he's in the game defensively.
So Blakes will draw his second.
Well, you know, they've got fouls to give, Wes, but
right.
I've never been a fan of giving fouls in the first half. You might need your guys.
And another one. Third on Blakes. That's 6. 4.4 left. Here's Gant. Back for Joyner. 3 over Roach.
You want to get some opportunities from the free throw line, but, you know, once you get 8 shots blocked, you might want to rethink that.
Duke was 9-1 on the road last year in the ACC. They lost their first road conference game at Wake Forest before Christmas and trail 22 as we go to half 2. Shire's team with the ball here.
The defensive intensity in the first half by North Carolina State was just something to behold, and you wonder if they can maintain that here in the second.
Lively on the bench. Young and Filipowski start together, and there's Ryan Young. He's now got 8 on his 3rd field goal.
Filipowski continues to find himself matched up against one of the guards, but of course you don't want him down inside when Young is in the game.
Yep. DeWanna screen for Smith. Inside feed, and Ross could not get it, or DeWanna could not get it on the rim. DeWanna starts with Gant, Joyner, Morcell, and of course Terquavion Smith.
Filipowski's got to figure out a way to get himself involved in this offense.
Here he goes on cue from Bonner. Filipowski gets his 2nd field goal.
And that's a great way to do it. Young has drawn so much attention inside. You don't have to wander along the 3-point line to try to find an opening. Ball goes inside, cut to the basket.
4 in a row by the Blue Devils start the half for John Shire's team. Off the screen, DeWanna trying to free Joyner. Now Smith with 10 to shoot against Mitchell. Terquavion into traffic, fall away, got the shot to go.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Nope. 14 for Smith.
That was outstanding defense by a guy who you figure is really going to bother Smith because he's long.
Here's Roach. Fall away from left of the lane. Got his own rebound. And the stick back knocked out of there. Here's Joyner leading the break. Smith a catch and shoot. 5 straight for Smith. Here's Whitehead trying to answer. Too strong. Morcell the rebound.
What a great outlet.
Joyner. He will take it on the drive. Skip it for Smith. Another one. Short. You got it.
As Joyner is lying on the floor, he is signaling the 3-point basket. He goes down, he looks at his teammate, up goes the 3, down goes the basket. Joyner has 8 assists.
No turnovers.
That's an 8-0 North Carolina State run, Wes, in 48 seconds.
Yep. And they've doubled the number again. Young working on DeWanna. Burrows down and scores easily. Double figures for Ryan Young on his 4th field goal.
Well, Wes, it's, you know, not any great insight to say if you're Duke, you need stops. You know, you obviously can't trade baskets.
Off the DeWanna screen, Joyner a spot up. And State is hitting shots now, Dan.
Well, again, Wes, we said they shot only 46% in the first half, which is a decent percentage, but not really a 22-point lead percentage. And now they're starting to heat up.
Jarkel Joyner now with 13. Filipowski in 1 for the Blue Devils.
That's a good play by Filipowski, Wes. At his size, he can get down on the interior. And that time he knows he's got a chance. He just floats to the basket. When he catches it down there, Wes, he's hard to stop.
Yeah. First team foul on NC State belongs to Ebenezer DeWanna. It's his 2nd. And here comes DJ Burns for DeWanna as Filipowski will go to the line to try and convert the free throw. He is 79% on the year, 11th in the ACC, and has 7 now in the ball game. Backcourt pressure offered by Blakes against Joyner.
And NC State's made 4 of their 5 shot attempts here in the second half, Wes. I'd say that's hot.
So Joyner to work here. Now to Smith against Whitehead. Terquavion all the way through. Put it up on the rim with the right hand. Filipowski will chase it down for the Blue Devils. Look at the big fella just handle the ball. The skill set all the way to the rim and draws the foul. I believe on Burns. Yes. 3rd on Burns. 2nd on the Wolfpack. I mean, this is a 7-foot, 230-pound freshman going 94 feet.
Well, he weaves right through the crowd here, and he sees Burns ahead of him, and he's not worried about Burns' ability to block his shot.
Right.
Burns has 4 blocks tonight, but he hadn't blocked any 7-footers.
Kyle knocks a free throw down. He's got 6 here in the half, 8 in the ball game. Dad played basketball at Slippery Rock. Mom played basketball at Long Beach State. And we get a line violation. That'll wipe off the second attempt and hand it to the Wolfpack.
I think they ruled that Filipowski stepped over the free throw line before the ball hit the rim.
So backcourt pressure offered by the Blue Devils. There's Gant. And he will loop it ahead here for Smith.
Well, the problem with pressure, Wes, like that is if you don't steal the ball, somebody's going to get an open shot.
Here goes Burns. Backing down. Up and under. Blocked by Young. And a foul going to be called on Young. Yes. Ted Valentine.
Whitehead said something, and Ted Valentine didn't like it.
It's on Young. It'll be his third, I believe. No, it's on Filipowski. It's first. So it's the first on Kyle Filipowski, the first on Duke, and here is DJ Burns Jr. This is the front end of a 2-shot chance. Big South Player of the Year at Winthrop, averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, had 8 games with 20 or more. On his way to the top honor in the Big South for the Eagles. And he gets 1 of 2 there. He's got 7 tonight.
Well, how would you guard him in the Big South?
With about 2 guys.
Need more than 2.
Yeah. You know, a lot of you. We saw Tim Kraft and Gardner Webb earlier in the year. He's got a talented team. Winthrop was every bit as.
Oh, no, there's really good teams in the Big South.
Absolutely. And producing great coaches, by the way.
But there's not many 6'9", 275 guys.
Nope. Filipowski the rebound off the miss. Young will try. He's fouled. That's Burns. So Kevin Keats' team's been trapped here a little bit. That's 4 on Burns, 3 on NC State. Blue Devils at the line, trailing 23 when we continue.
Turned the ball over. They've had shots blocked. North Carolina State outscoring them 20-4 in fast break baskets.
So after the 4th foul on Burns, here is Young at the line. Coming off his 4th career double-double on Saturday against Florida State, the Northwestern grad transfer at 23 years of age. We'll get the back end. He is 3 for 5 at the line, and here are the Blue Devils with some backcourt pressure again. And Morcell a catch and shoot 3. Too strong. Long rebound for Derek Whitehead.
And that's okay if you're Duke. You know, you got to take a risk, so you're giving up that shot.
The lob for Filipowski might not have been the best offer offensively. Here's Smith trying to beat Whitehead to the basket and 1. 22 now for Terquavion, and Derek Whitehead commits his first and the second on the Blue Devils.
Well, this is a situation again. North Carolina State's able to get out and go because of the turnover. And once Terquavion Smith gets the ball in transition, Wes, he is really hard to stop. And Whitehead is very athletic. He moves his feet very well. But once Smith gets going like that, you just can't stop him.
Yep. 3 for 3 at the line. He's now got 23 in the ball game. He had 14 games of 20 or more, including 5 of his last 6 a season ago.
There, NC State shows a little bit of pressure, Wes.
Yep. Tyrese Proctor, the freshman from Australia, on the floor with Blakes, Mitchell, Filipowski, and Young. As Roach gets a break for Coach Shire.
Well, Roach is 0 for 8 tonight, Wes. And Blakes hadn't made a shot either. He's only 0 for 2. Right. But your 2 starting guards are 0 for 10.
Tonight is the 5th game already this year for Smith of 20 or more. Proctor got locked up, 5 to shoot. Here's Blakes attacking. He had it poked away. Gant got a hand in. Here is Smith. He's going to race it right at Filipowski and draw the foul.
Now, if you're Filipowski in that situation, it's a hard defensive play to make. But maybe if, it's going to be hard to stay in front of Smith, maybe let him get by and try to block it from behind.
Yeah. So here is Terquavion from Farmville Central High School. in Eastern North Carolina. He made 96 threes a year ago. Misses the back end. We had a fun discussion today about high volume, high scoring guys in the last 2 decades in the ACC. He's on a list. He can join a list later this year that's a pretty distinguished list in this league when it comes to scoring and the volume. And I mean, this league has produced some incredible individual scorers. Dawana, the rebound on the miss from Filipowski. And now he's got a wingman in this guy right here. Joyner. Have it. 15 for Jarkel Joyner.
Wes, some days you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. This is not Duke's day.
15 for Joyner. He and Smith on their way to combining for 50. Maybe in this ball game. They've got 39 combined right now. Young thought about the three. Mitchell on the drive. Off the glass and in.
Mitchell using his size against Morcell right there. But you don't just need 1 or 2 stops, Wes. You need multiple stops.
You need a drought now.
Absolutely. You need to somehow create a drought.
Yeah. Here's Smith trying to beat the Blue Devils on the bounce. Feeds Dawana with the left hand. Left it on the rim.
Again, Dawana's not in there for his offense. You'd like your big guy to be able to make that one, but that's not why he's in the game.
Proctor back for
nice
Young.
Pass.
Inside, Filipowski rips it down with 2 hands.
Boy, the things that Young does for this team.
You couldn't have ordered out of a catalog a better grad transfer opportunity for Duke than the one Ryan Young gives them. Smith lost the handle on the drive, and now we're going to get a whistle and a foul. And we're going to put this on
Proctor, I think.
Yep.
But Filipowski there, he's got the mismatch inside. We've talked about that a couple of times today. And with Young out in the high post, he's able to, Filipowski has a lot of room in the low post.
Yep.
And that high-low game, very effective on that particular situation.
4th foul on Duke. Ryan Young checks out. Derek Lively on the floor now, Dan, 7 minutes into the second half for the first time. And here's Joyner off the Dawana screen. Step back 3. 18 for Joyner. 7.5.
Wes, that was not bad defense.
Nope. Sure wasn't. Proctor, reroute, drive, and 1 for the freshman Proctor. First basket for Tyrese Proctor.
Well, Joyner gets just a little bit of room and knocks down the 3. And then this is really a nice drive that Duke has had some success driving the ball into the lane and getting to the free throw line.
Proctor missed the and 1. Lively touched it. It'll belong to NC State. Here in the second half, Terquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner have 19 of NC State's 20. The only outlier is a DJ Burns free throw. Elsewise, these 2 cats right here are running the house. Thomas has come in the ball game, by the way, wearing number 4. He'll handle it in the backcourt. Ernest Ross also into the lineup for NC State.
Boy, that was close to a 10-second violation.
Yep. Here is Joyner. Jarkel working on Proctor with 8 to shoot. Another step back 3. That was a heat check, maybe. Filipowski the rebound.
The clock running down a little bit. Really nice job defensively by Lively that time. You can sort of ignore Dawana, and he did.
Here's Blakes.
There's Filipowski down inside against Thomas.
And he'll flip it to Lively, the dunk. But before that, the foul. And that'll send us to break. Foul on Thomas will be his second. It's the 5th on NC State, who's got a commanding lead at the under 12.
Miami at home might be a quad 2. Georgia Tech a little outlier there, but at North Carolina another quad 1. And when you're being considered for the NCAA tournament, when you put yourself in that conversation, the more quad 1 wins you can get, the better.
Absolutely. Basketball for the Blue Devils out of the timeout. Proctor on the baseline gets it to Blakes.
Now, of course, Wes, we have to say that Joe doesn't determine who gets in the NCAA tournament, but he leads the discussion, and it's a fun discussion to have.
There's Thomas on a reach around against Proctor. Freshman from Plant City. It's his third. It's the 6th on NC State. Proctor trying to weave through traffic, got caught in the air, flips to Lively, missed the layup, and Ted Valentine before the shot by Filipowski is going to call Ross for his third.
And he emphatically calls that foul on Ross.
Ted wanted to make sure that everybody understood.
Everybody understood. How many times did he point at Ross?
So 24, fouls 1, and Lively gets 2 shots. 6 of 11 at the line is Lively this year. Preseason ACC Rookie of the Year. That's his first point. And the second one no good and slapped around, but Morcell has it.
Well, that's a strong play by Morcell.
Sure is. 11.5 to go. Traquavion Smith. And we're going to get a foul on Lively. First on Derek, 5th on the Blue Devils.
The Duke defense really does an awful lot of switching, including their big guys on those screens out on the perimeter. And Traquavion Smith too fast even for Lively.
That speaks to the versatility, Dan.
Yes, it does.
I mean, not many can switch 1 to 5. Now they roll on the deck. Lively going to get the takeaway. Turned over by the Wolfpack and Proctor.
Smith bounced that off his foot.
Blue Devils need a basket here.
Yes, they do.
More than anything else for John Shire's team.
Back him down, not like that.
Third on Filipowski, all in the second half. 16th Duke turnover.
You know, guys need to take a page out of DJ Burns' playbook. What Filipowski does here, he turns, lowers his shoulder, and goes right in to Smith. If he just uses his backside to back him in, he's not going to get called for that foul.
Thomas with Proctor defending. And here is Smith. Dewana trying to help, and Blakes. It's not been his night offensively, but Jalen Blakes is the real deal on defense, Dan.
Yeah, he sure is. But I think Smith was telling Dewana, hey, just get out of the way. Don't stand there. You're bringing 2 guys to me.
Here's Thomas. And now Ross with 4 to shoot. Now here's Thomas through. He'll leave it for Dewana. Dunk and 1. Oh my goodness.
It's an and 1 dunk, Wes, with 0.3 seconds left on the shot clock.
And it's 4 on Filipowski. The 3rd on Filipowski. It's the 7th on Duke.
Dewana just is in the right-hand part of your screen, just standing down on the baseline, or excuse me, on the low block there.
And EB's got 2 field goals, and they're both dunks. Missed the free throw. It's the 3rd on Filipowski.
Well, what did Kevin Keats tell us before the game? He wanted Dewana to play defense. He wanted him to block shots. He wanted him to rebound. He wanted him to dunk.
Yeah. Morcell
so far,
out.
so good.
Morcell out, Joyner back. So now you got Joyner, Smith, Thomas, along with Ross and Dewana, and here is Blake streaking to the basket. Jalen Blake's first points of the game with about 10:25 to play.
Wolfpack looked a little confused on their assignments there.
Smith tries to back off to the corner, fires a 3. Traquavion went over there to the bench and lost his juice.
Well, he'll get it back.
Won't take long, I promise you that. Filipowski and a hand check foul on Ross. That's his 4th. So now Burns with 4, Ross with 4 at the 10:04 mark. And without, here we go, without Mohorcic, without Jack Clark, Dan, here comes Greg Gant back. 8th team foul on NC State.
So NC State with Ross going out of the game, the Wolfpack gets smaller. And Duke has their 2 7-footers in the game.
First one good on the free throw by Filipowski. Don't forget, ACC women's basketball coming up Sunday. Full Sunday of coverage at 2 o'clock, presented by Food Line. Pitt and Louisville from the Yum Center. And then Notre Dame, number 4, into Chapel Hill to meet number 22, North Carolina. All available on ACC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. Filipowski buys 1 of 2 at the line. NC State.
So with this lineup for NC State in the game, West, the only real offensive threats are Joyner and Smith.
Out of the corner, Gant. Air ball to 3. What's Quavion Smith took a rip on the screen, and then Filipowski's fouled by Gant on the drive for the dunk. That'll be his first. 9 on the pack. Well, with 9:39 to go, the parade to the free throw line is available at both ends of the floor. So Ron Cooper, the 4th-year trainer of the Wolfpack, to tape up a couple of the fingers of Terquavion Smith.
Those are very valuable fingers.
Yeah, they are. Filipowski will go to the line for a pair here as he was fouled by Gant. First one good.
See if we can see what happened to Smith.
Oh.
That looked like a body block by Smith. He ran into Lively.
Catch Lively's jersey with his hand, and 1 of 2 Filipowski. Rebound Dewana.
It's been that kind of a night for Duke, West. They simply haven't been able to create that many opportunities, and when they've been able to create them, they haven't been very efficient taking advantage of it.
Ryan Young getting ready to come back. He's got 3 fouls. Joyner out front. Here's Thomas. 5 to shoot. Thomas trying to get around Blakes. He took it away from him. Now here's Proctor. He had Mitchell in transition. Offensive foul on Proctor.
Weston, that's a perfect example. They created an opportunity for themselves, did the Blue Devils with a really nice defensive play. But then this is just a tremendous job by Joyner. I mean, and that is a tough play to get yourself back in transition like that and get your feet set so you can take the charge.
There's Gant trying to get in front court against Mitchell. Kevin Keats probably would like to have it in the hands of one of the smaller guys.
Yeah, you know, I don't know that he's thrilled that Gant's dribbling behind his back in a crowd out there, but it worked, so everybody's good.
10 to shoot. Joyner working against Proctor. Fires and hits. 21 for Joyner.
What are you supposed to do, Wes, if you're trying to guard that guy?
Get a hand up? I mean, you know, you're there. Just their night right now. Filipowski fouled, and Gant draws his second. That's 10 on NC State. And with 8:24 to go, Duke is going to go to the line for 2.
And they've been to the free throw line. They have 21 free throw attempts tonight, Wes, but they've only made 12.
Well, and here's the other note about this.
That's well below their season mark.
Let me tell you, they're 3rd in the ACC in their 3 conference games, Dan, at nearly 81%. But tonight, it's been a different story at the line.
Well, Wes, and since December started, they've been even better than that. They've been in the high 80s.
Yeah.
But again, everything that could possibly go wrong tonight for Duke has gone wrong.
Yep. Mitchell out. Derek Whitehead. There's a good look at the 6'7" freshman from Newark. Bothered by a foot injury in the preseason, and Whitehead, they feel like, is just kind of rounding toward form as we get to early January. 23-point lead for NC State. Smith all the way to the basket. That got knocked away by Whitehead. All good, says the officials, as we head to the other end with Blakes. Skip for Whitehead. He'll launch. And Dewana the rebound. Ripped it out of there in traffic. We're going to get a foul called. And is that Filipowski? Nope, it's on Young. It's 4 on Young, 9 on the Blue Devils. Free throws when we come back to Raleigh.
just been outstanding, Wes, but I'll go back to the start of the game. The thing that set the tone was North Carolina State's defense.
Yep. You're right.
And we wondered if they'd be able to maintain the same kind of intensity in the second half. And it has backed off, substantially, but they've still been really good. They forced a total of 17 turnovers, and Duke's high for the year in turnovers is 19. That was against Maryland Eastern Shore.
Whitehead. Here's Filipowski. Now Blake's trying to get by Joyner. 4 to shoot. Blake's in trouble. Now it's got knocked out of there, and here comes Joyner with the turnover. Jarkel reroutes. Terquavion thought about it. He'll take Whitehead baseline around Young. Tap follow, and they scramble for it. Last touch by NC State, says Mike Roberts.
Well, Smith was open in the corner in transition, but Joyner didn't see him. And that was a really good defensive play by Whitehead to get out there and force Smith to put the ball down and try to get to the basket.
Proctor comes into the ball game. Blakes takes a break for Coach Shire. 23-point lead for NC State, coming up on 7 to go here in the ball game in Raleigh. Proctor, block Morcell. Casey will take off, shoot to beat, layup good.
Well, that's the story of the night, Wes, but Proctor, that's 9 block shots now for North Carolina State, but Proctor's not a really good three-point shooter. He needs to take the ball to the basket.
That's a travel and a turnover. And for Duke, that's 19 turnovers in the ball game.
Well, he pulls up to shoot the 3, Wes, and Morcell is an outstanding defensive player and is close enough that he can block it and go the other way. That's the way North Carolina State has played defense all night long.
Grandison, Whitehead, Proctor, Shoot, and Ryan Young on the floor now for Duke. And here is Smith, Joyner, Gant, Morcell, and playing with 4 fouls is DJ Burns. But DJ's team's up 25.
Well, DJ's got to be a little bit careful.
Catch, layup, good.
Wes, there's so many times that he puts the ball up there, and it's such a soft shot. It bounces around the rim 3 or 4 times before it goes down.
Here's Proctor. Back for Young. In the corner, Whitehead. Got it.
That's really good ball movement.
9 by Whitehead tonight. All 3 from behind the line for his 9 points.
Well, you don't see Young launching it up from out there, Wes. He just does a nice job when he's out at the top of the key, facilitating, moving the ball very quickly.
Joyner for Gant. Bounce pass for Burns. Fall away with a left hand. 5.5, 11 in the game. He's averaged 11 and 5.5 coming from the last 2. 30 doing it. Whitehead again rattles it in from deep.
Wes, I think you're starting to see some of what Dariq Whitehead, what the big fuss was about. And again, you said he missed a lot of the preseason. He's just rounding into form now.
The news is real for Dariq Whitehead. Here's Gant on the shot fake. Had it knocked away. Tried to recover. Had it poked away again. There's Joyner. Oh, my goodness. If that had gone, the girders in the building would have shook. Here's Whitehead feeling it. And the rebound for Gant.
Gant has made a nice contribution tonight as well, Wes.
First start for the Wolfpack. 13th of his career after transferring from Providence. Look at Burns. 2 of them. Oh, come on. Whitehead had it. Gant beat him to it. Joyner off the loose ball pickup. Fell off the iron. Joyner will run it down.
Wes, that's the game in summary right there. North Carolina State with a 25-point lead, and they're still diving on the floor.
Here goes Burns. Wrap around and foul. And Ryan Young's night might be over. Yep. 5 on Young. And for the first time in his Duke career, Ryan Young will foul out.
Well, I think as people play North Carolina State, they're going to find out that DJ Burns is a different kind of animal down there. I mean, he is so crafty, and at his size, he's got such a soft touch.
Yep.
But again, Wes, the thing that impressed me is there's a loose ball, and the guys from North Carolina State are diving after it.
Yep.
In a 25-point game.
Christian Reeves, the 7'1" freshman from Charlotte, checks in for the Blue Devils as Burns knocks down the free throw. DJ Burns started his career at Tennessee, ended up redshirting, and then went to Winthrop. Mark Prosser was the coach of the Eagles a year ago, Dan, as you know. Done a phenomenal job there after Pat Kelsey went to the College of Charleston.
Boy, Kelsey's got the College of Charleston in the top 20.
Yep. Missed shot by Proctor with 4 minutes to go.
But Burns, he revitalized himself at Winthrop, and he wanted to see if he could play at this level.
There's a foul on Reeves. That'll get us to a timeout. You know, the Wolfpack has had the momentum since the jump tonight, and the latest guy to show his wares is DJ Burns. My goodness. Took advantage, Dan, at the defensive end of the floor.
Well, West Duke was ice cold, but it was the North Carolina State Wolfpack that made them ice cold. You know, they were when they were 0 for 10, West, they were 0 for 10 at one point in the game where the Blue Devils, 5 of their shots had gotten blocked, and they turned it over 6 times.
Burns free throw, he's got 15.
The North Carolina State defense was intense and smothering.
Yep. And stays at 15 for DJ Burns.
And that's the way it's gone for Duke.
Yep. Grandison and Reeves and Proctor, and nobody grabbed the basketball. John Shire's team will be at Chestnut Hill on Saturday in game 1 of our ACC Network tripleheader. There's Burns with a left hand. Rattled out over the top of Reeves. Under 4 to go. 27-point lead. Shoot is a freshman from Yorkville, Illinois. And that ball got thrown away by Proctor. Into the lineup. Here comes Cale Catchings for the Blue Devils. And we get our first look at the sophomore Breon Pass for NC State. Dan and I'll be at the Conti Forum on Saturday. Wake Louisville follows our coverage from Boston College. Syracuse, Virginia, our nightcap of a terrific triple-header on ACC Network. Cavaliers off the Pitt loss last night. Host Syracuse at JPJ.
Well, how about Pitt? You know, they're really playing well.
Yes, they are. Here's Burns over Reeves with a left hand.
Of course.
DJ Burns now with 17. 81-52. It's a 29-point game. Ahead of 3 minutes. And a foul called, and that is going to be on Ernest Ross, and that's his 5th, I believe. And he will end the night scoreless with 3:01 to go.
Well, Kevin Keats is going down the bench. Joyner leaving the game, Wes, and what a game by Joyner. 21 points, 9 assists, so 1 assist away from a double-double.
Yep.
6 rebounds, and 0 turnovers for Jarkel Joyner.
24-year-old Jacob Grandison at the line. Free throw good. He's now 8 for 8 this season.
And that's his first point of the game.
Yep.
And we talked about Duke's depth and their versatility. Well, Grandison is a big part of that. And if he's not going to score, then that depth doesn't mean anything, and there is no versatility.
Yep. Second one good. 81-54.
And you just don't, if you're Duke, you just don't have any time to recover from this. You got to go back to work immediately. Here's
Burns against Reeves. Skip, 3 ball. Thomas had it rim out. Morcell the rebound.
Every time Burns catches the ball, the fans are
chanting, they love it now.
DJ Burns.
Morcell, 10 to shoot. Here's Burns. Spinning back baseline, skip across. Breon pass. 9th field goal of the year for Pass. 2:15 to play. Grandison. Catchings in the corner. Shoots.
Well, that's what he's in the game to do.
5th three-pointer of the year for Jaden Shute, rather. 2 minutes to go. Burns out of a double team, and a whistle and a foul called. Mike Roberts is going to call the foul on Christian Reeves. It'll be his second.
I think Burns got one in the nose. You know, Burns has gotten everybody's attention. They smother him out here. He got hit in the face.
Yep. So DJ will go back to the line, where he's got 17 points tonight.
Well, as you know, Reeves, it wasn't a flagrant foul.
Right.
As he was reaching for the ball, he scraped the face, probably maybe poked him in the eye.
So Ron Cooper, the basketball trainer for the Wolfpack, checks him out, and Burns will go to the line with 1:56 to go in a 26-point game. It has been since 1972 that Duke has lost to an unranked opponent. They lost by 27 points at NC State.
Well, think about the 1972 NC State team.
Well, and you know what? As I recall, a pretty good team.
Well, David Thompson in 1972 was playing on the freshman team.
In 72? No, that's right. He would have been. That's
he was on the freshman team.
That's right.
But they still had Tom Burleson.
Sure did. They had Tom Burleson. They had Tim Stoddard.
Well, Stoddard was on the freshman team.
Was he on the team? Yep. What about Monty Tao? Was he there?
He was on the freshman team
too. Well, the freshman team must have been a load.
Freshman team was pretty dang good.
So was Paul Krause on the varsity team in 72?
Yeah, he was not on the freshman team.
Right. Or not Paul Krause, Paul Coder. That's who I was thinking of, right?
I thought Paul Krause, didn't he?
That was the Viking safety.
Vikings?
Yeah, that was close.
Well, you're still mixing your seasons. I understand.
Yeah, I got one more left in the regular season. Here is Proctor now with 100 seconds to play. Catchings. Kick out for Grandison, and Reeves had a shot at it. Morcell will pull it away. So 1972 was a 27-point loss at NC State. That's the largest loss against an unranked opponent, potentially until tonight. Morcell will try and make it 30, and it's
now, interestingly enough, NC State has scored 84 points. Morcell hadn't made a three tonight.
Yeah, that's true. And he's the ACC leader.
Yep.
Coming in, there's Proctor and one. So Tyrese Proctor on the foul by Pass.
Now, it's not that Proctor can't shoot the three, Wes, but his percentage is very low this year, and he's been much better going to the basket as he was right there.
Well, here comes KJ Keats, Chase Graham, Alex Nunley, and Jordan Snell into the lineup for NC State to join Ebenezer Dewana.
Wes, and everything Kevin Keats could possibly have asked for tonight. You know, I think if you told him before the game, with a minute left in the game, he was going to be clearing his bench, he might have disagreed with you.
Yeah. Hard night at the office for John Shire. And Dan, we got a lot of respect for the job John Shire has lost for the foreseeable future with a core muscle injury, and certainly Mahorchich, who they hope to get back at some point, Dan. NC State set this tone tonight in this ball game at the defensive end of the floor and playing tougher at times, I thought.
Well, they did, Wes, and even though Duke is a great rebounding team and one of the top rebounding teams in the ACC in the country, North Carolina State really did a great job battling them on the boards, but the Wolfpack strength has always been scoring points off turnovers. They scored 30 points tonight on 21 Duke turnovers.
Yeah. Catchings defends the inbounds. Here is Graham, who played at nearby Athens Drive. Chase Graham in his 33rd career game tonight, fourth-year walk-on. Alex Nunley is a sophomore from Cary, and KJ Keats, well, he's the son of the head coach. And there's Josh Snell. Fall away, rimmed out, rebound for Cale Catchings, who transferred from Harvard out of Coach Blakeney's. There's inside is the miss by Reeves. And Cale Catchings played for what, Tommy Amaker?
Yeah, he played at Harvard.
Yep. And Josh Snell's going to dribble this out. No fouls from the Duke bench is the call. State's going to go to 12-4 and 2-3 in the ACC. Duke's going to fall to 11-4 and 2-2 visiting Boston College on Saturday. And NC State's going to take a whole bunch of momentum to Blacksburg, Dan.
Big win for North Carolina State. Another opportunity on Saturday.
A combined 45 points tonight for Terquavion.